Hello and welcome back to Misrepresented. Today I'm so excited because I have one of my favorite girls here in the studio today, Angel Strong, who is your Miss Vizcaya Swimwear, but also a Miss Nebraska Teen USA and Miss Earth
Iowa Teen USA.
Iowa, sorry. You're from Nebraska, so I get
I'm from
confused.
Nebraska, yeah.
So what's the story there?
I went to school in Iowa.
Oh, okay.
So I competed at Nebraska Teen USA 2 years in a row, 2019 and 2020, and I wasn't going to compete in 2021, but then like last minute, the pageant I was going to compete in kind of got canceled, like completely moved back, but then eventually canceled. So I was just like, okay, let's hop on to Iowa Teen USA.
Ooh.
I go to Drake University so I could compete there because I was living there full time.
Yeah.
Literally 2 weeks before, like not even a full 2 weeks before, I signed up for Iowa Teen USA.
You were like surprised, and then you won the whole thing.
Yeah,
that happens a lot in pageants, I feel like.
I completely winged it all, and it was such an interesting experience.
Yeah.
Mostly because I wasn't going to win. Like, I wasn't going there to win. That wasn't in my heart what I thought was going to happen.
So how did you feel when they called you into the top 5 and then as the winner?
I was literally shaking so bad. Even like top, I think it was like 12 or 13 for semis. Like, I was shaking so bad. I'm like, oh my god. Like 2 weeks of practice and I made top 12 because it's so many more girls than I ever had at Nebraska Teen USA.
Okay, so Iowa's more competitive than Nebraska.
Yeah, there's like a lot more girls for the teen, and it was so crazy to me.
Oh my god.
Because I was like, oh my god, I'm like shaking. I usually can stand in my heels for a solid 4 hours.
Yeah.
Got to the hour mark for top 5, and I was like, this is happening?
Oh my god.
And then called for top 2, and I'm like, I was really good friends with my first runner-up, Kaylin, and I'm like, oh my god, this is yours. I'm so excited for you. This is yours. I'm gonna be so happy for you. And then they call me, and I just kind of stand there. I'm like, is that for real? Like,
oh my gosh.
I was like,
so then you went straight into like getting ready for Miss Teen USA. What was that experience like? Were you a COVID queen?
I was not a COVID queen because I was 2021.
Okay.
So I was the first year of the new previous directorship.
Okay.
And I had a really good time. My roommate Brianna actually ended up winning because I was roommates with Florida.
Okay.
Love that girl. Amazing queen.
Yeah.
Was so happy for her as well.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just really interesting because after the first 2 years of competing in Nebraska Teen USA, I kind of convinced myself I was like never going to be a USA girly. Like I could never like get there. That was like not my that was not like my ring. It wasn't like my ring. And then I made top 16 at Teen USA, and I was like, oh my god, I can do this. Like this is like actually a thing that is possible. It was so bizarre to me.
No, that's so amazing. And you also do a lot with Miss Earth USA. I know you were top 5 last year, and you now have a elemental title.
Yes, Earth USA Fire, and I'm super excited because Miss Earth USA Danielle is in the Fire group.
Oh, I know, I saw that.
I feel like that's such good luck, honestly.
Yes.
Fire is just the best element.
Everything. I'm so excited.
She is the sweetest girl. I adore her.
Yes.
Like, I think in pageantry it can be really easy to overlook when someone's just a genuine and kind person, because in that arena, in pageantry arena, like you're so convinced everyone's being fake because it's a competitive
Do you feel
space.
That way?
I definitely have been told I come off that way.
Oh no.
Because it's like everybody's thinking it's such a competitive space and that everybody's like fighting against one another.
Oh no.
And it can be easy to like fall into that mindset sometimes. But like with Danielle, it's just like there's not a competitive bone in her.
Yeah.
Like there's not a competitive bone in her body. Like she's very good at what she does. Obviously, like she won Miss Earth USA.
Yeah, and she's doing such a great job with her title.
So humble, so sweet.
Yeah.
Like
but I can't believe people think you're fake. Because, like, I know you and we've spent so much time together and I'm like, there's no way.
I think it's because I have, like, a very high energy level.
Oh.
I'm always, like, up here unless I'm tired. And then I'll be kind of, like, down here. Oh. But when everyone else is, like, here on energy 90% of the time, they're like, oh, yeah, you're fake. Like, you're going to, like, try to sabotage me or something.
No. No, and then you told me when I was doing your makeup that, like, you were in competition mode one year, so you made no friends. So maybe that might have come off, like, the wrong way. But
yeah. Well, people liked me better because they didn't think I was being fake.
Oh, because you're just like not talking to anybody.
Because I would be like, hi, hello. I'd be like, hi, hello, how are you? And then I'd be done.
Oh my gosh.
Like the only thing I think that was like my usual pageantry thing is I still did like my confidence moments like backstage.
Ooh, tell me about the confidence.
So when I was like 13 I think it would have been, it was 13 because it was the first year I competed for Junior Earth USA. I kind of came up with this thing where when I was nervous backstage, I would just like start dancing to the music.
I've seen you do that. I've literally seen you do that.
I
Even
do
like
it
after
all the
crowning,
time.
right?
Yeah.
You got like a whole group going with the
Yeah, I was
confidence.
like, confidence. And it would just make me feel so much better
Yeah.
because not to get too like sciencey or anything, but when you're moving, there's more endorphins in your body. So it's harder to be nervous and harder to be anxious. So that's kind of what inspired it. And then I noticed finals night, there were a lot of girls that were like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. So I'm like, I took their hands.
Did you confidence them?
Yeah, I was like, okay, we're gonna confidence, like da da.
Oh
da.
my God.
And I do it every time I'm at a pageant. If I see a girl like who looks like super nervous, like she's anxious, I'm like, no, we're gonna like nip this in the bud. We're gonna stop it right now. And I'll just take her hands. It's like time to confidence.
Oh, it's so
everywhere
cute.
I go because it's like it gives you confidence.
Yeah.
Love a good pun.
So, okay, is Miss Vizcaya Swimwear, is it more like modeling to you or pageant? Like, did you have to confidence before you went on the runway for swim week?
I mean, I definitely did. Like, we had a live performer there, everything. That was amazing.
Yeah, Hadi did so good.
Incredible.
I
saw that. Those photos were so cute too.
Thank you.
I was like this close to posting them. I posted them on my story because I just thought it was adorable. But I was like, oh my God, these need to be posted everywhere because it's amazing.
Oh my, I wasn't ready. I was like, woo. And then I was like, oh my God, he's here.
You looked so surprised. You're like,
yeah, I was like, is this really happening right now? Yeah. Little stage fright. I needed a confidence.
Yeah, you needed a confidence.
Yeah.
I know I definitely danced backstage. I don't know if I was quite in like a total pageant mode because I definitely did feel it was more modeling. It was another like one of those things where I was totally winging it because I got signed up 4 days before.
Last minute. I remember you're like, is it too late? I'm like, not sure. Why don't you apply and find out?
Well, no, because I'd already applied.
Oh.
But I hadn't heard anything back. And then I emailed and they were like, oh no, we sent you something like 2 months ago.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I never received that. And I double checked all my spam folders and all my trash bin and everything.
Did you find it? Oh.
I have no idea what happened to that email.
Okay, interesting.
I think probably what happened was because I was living in Cayman at the time and it flying back and forth. I think it probably received it on the flight and it just kind of got lost in the server. Yeah. Because that happened to a few of the emails I sent out as well.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you followed up because you ended up going to Miss. What was that experience like?
It was amazing, especially like all the girls. Like I think I still talk to 90% of the girls that competed.
Oh my gosh.
Like I have like 3 back. Like I'm staying with a friend every time I'm in Miami and like in South Florida, up in Boca Raton, and I'm just like, well, if this friend's ever busy, like I need to have like backup people.
Yeah.
So I have like Shayna who competed with me.
Yeah.
Like I'll just message them. I'm like, hey, are you busy like this weekend?
Oh my God.
Like if something happens and I need like a last minute place to stay, or like if this person gets busy or like can't like keep me over the weekend, would you mind if I like stayed with you?
Sweet.
And all of them are like, oh my God, yeah, let's get coffee, let's do
and
this.
like Amelia's like right here too.
Yeah.
So sweet.
Oh my
I
God,
love the
I love
Vizcaya
it.
girls. They're just like so sweet, like really good energy.
Yeah, like it's definitely, this sounds really weird because like Teen USA, you had a lot of really great girls, you had a lot of girls in competition mode, and then you had like those few bad apples. I don't think there was a single bad apple in the Vizcaya.
Like I know of, like every year I just feel like it's so fun because like there's not a lot of pressure because it's not a pageant. So like we're not expecting you to be perfect. We're just looking for the face of the brand, you know, for Vizcaya Swimwear. So it's like,
and I think that definitely comes off as like, I think that's why I would put Vizcaya like more modeling than pageantry, because there's no benefit for girls to be like overly competitive or to be like rude to anyone because it doesn't feel like you're losing out on any.
It's like you're already a winner by being there. Like you already walk in swim week, you already get to like do the photo shoots, like most of them are in the calendar. Like there's not a lot to compete for.
Yeah, like you have like all these portfolio images that you're walking away with and like things to post on your Instagram. So I think a lot of girls were just like, I'm here for this and I'm getting to do what I wanted to do. So regardless of what happens, that was my mentality going into it, at least.
And like it already launches your career so much.
Absolutely.
But winning does a lot more. So tell me, what was it like after you won? Like tell me about your year so far as Miss Vizcaya Swimwear. I know I feel like I'm with a celebrity because you've done so much.
It says the actual celebrity. Like says the woman who like gets flown to Africa.
Oh my God.
The actual influencer celebrity, queen herself, OMG.
Thank you.
It's been really wild because I'm from Nebraska, so this is not like a common thing where I'm from. So like when the New York City billboard went up in Times Square, when I got back, everyone was like treating me so differently. Like I have all these people that I've known my entire life, and they're like, oh my gosh, like you were in Times Square. Like,
but like
can I get a photo?
twice at the same
Twice
time.
at the same time, right?
You had
And
2 billboards. That's
yes,
crazy. We're
that
like, "Oh,
was
there's you,
amazing.
and there's you over
And then
there."
that giant, and one of them was like the giant one over McDonald's too. And I was like,
Yeah. Oh, that one was crazy. Oh my
it
god,
was
and
like
that picture,
the picture like was insane. It was
yeah.
amazing. And I just remember like when I got home, everybody was treating me so differently. Like it wasn't like they knew me anymore. It was just like this A-list celebrity has come to Lincoln, Nebraska. Let's
Oh
all
my
just
god.
like, can I get a picture with you? Oh my god, my daughter
They're
would
probably like,
love
"Oh
you.
my
Can
god,
I
that's
get a
Angel
photo?
Strong."
Like literally.
That's
And
so
it's
cool.
such a weird feeling
Is it weird?
because it's never something I've experienced before.
Yeah.
And like the modeling thing, I said in my Vizcaya interview, I even mentioned that I've done pageantry my entire life. And I've always like compared myself really harshly to specific girls that I was like competing against over and over again. And when I saw their modeling careers not necessarily taking off the way they wanted to, I just kind of discounted myself and
Aw.
was like, yeah, no, if they can't do it, I can't do it.
Oh my gosh.
And then it was when I was Iowa Teen USA, actually, I went to the Texas pageant and I made friends there. And there was this photographer who was like, you need to stop comparing yourself to people because like they can be the most gorgeous person ever, but everybody's journey is different.
Yeah.
And you have to recognize like your journey is going to be yours
Yeah.
and you have to build it up your way, not try to do it her way and not try to say like I can't do it because someone else couldn't. So that
Wow.
was like a really big motivating factor to try something like that.
Wow.
And like then here I am.
And here you are.
It's
So
like
2 billboards in Times Square so far. You
and
got
one
one
in
in LA.
LA.
That was huge. A
And
magazine
a
cover.
magazine cover.
I
Like
love it. And then
oh
right after you won, I remember I grabbed your hand. I'm like, "Hey, we're gonna go to Maxim. We're going on the red
yes.
carpet."
Oh my gosh, that was so cool.
That was so fun.
I've like the Vizcaya red carpet was great and everything, but
Yeah.
the Maxim red carpet, I'm like,
It's
people are taking photos of me. It's
Yeah.
Maxim. I feel like a genuine like A-lister here.
It was like so iconic. So I know you still have a lot to do with Vizcaya. There's a Tulum trip. There's a swimsuit. Can you drop anything about your swimsuit design?
No.
No.
It's total secret.
What color?
Well, I'm thinking black.
Okay,
but
I
it's
love
like
a little black bikini.
yes. I definitely want to do something a little asymmetrical because that's like my full branding at
I
this
love
moment.
it. Yes. And I feel like every time I see you, it gets more asymmetrical, right? It's like more dramatic every time.
It's like every single time I have to be just a little bit more drama. I have to keep people on their
love
toes,
it.
you know? Like,
I love it.
I have to be the drama.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you are working as a pageant coach now, right? So
I've been
what's that
pageant
like?
coaching since I was 14.
What?
Yes.
I just found out
Yeah.
today. Well, when you sent me your talking points, I'm like, oh, pageant coaching. Okay. Which is
Yeah.
amazing. You guys should hire her because she wins everything. But, and you've done like every system, so you know.
Pretty much. Like, I've done Princess of America, NAM, ANSO, ARB, America's Most Supreme Beauties. Like, I've done
And like the big
everything.
ones, right?
All the
like
big, oh yeah,
USA,
like
Miss Earth
USA,
USA.
Earth USA. I haven't done America, but I helped coach one of my friends for Miss Outstanding Teen.
Okay.
So I know a little bit.
Yeah. And you win a lot. So.
And she did win Miss Nebraska Outstanding Teen, by the way.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So she went to
Miss Outstanding Teen.
Okay.
So the Miss America for teens.
Wow.
And now she's doing Miss Nebraska America. Like, I have like the coolest friends.
No, you really do. Like your circle, and it just keeps getting cooler because you keep meeting cool people, and like you're just attracting the right people into your life.
It's like you can't like push yourself onto like people like that. You have to just like cross your fingers and hope like good people come into your life, and if you allow it, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And it's been, I feel like I was always, especially as a teenager, I was always like trying to pick like the right people instead of just letting people come into my life as like they needed to. And I feel like I'm doing a lot better at that now and just like letting things
speaking
flow.
of fitting in, I know there was like some body dysmorphia happening. What's that like in pageantry and modeling? Like tell me about your experience.
So it's interesting because I think on one hand pageantry can be like a very big tool against toxic body image issues. Like Emma Loney is an amazing queen and she fights against
she's done so much for the industry. She's literally carrying inclusivity and pageantry on her back by herself, and she's doing an amazing job.
And I think that opens up so much more body positivity in the fashion industry as well.
100%.
Just because the pageants, yes, we're not like necessarily at the forefront, but we have a lot of influence on those industries because we are the more like accessible version of the fashion industry a lot of the time. But at the same time, I think when you look at a lot of pageant queens and they all have the same body, and you look at a lot of models and they all have the same body, any fluctuation in your own becomes a really huge issue. And like you start seeing yourself really differently. Like I went to the doctor, I believe it was like early September, and my weight was at like 105. And then I went late.
And you're like 5.
I'm 5'9".
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So like I'm definitely very small.
Yeah.
But then I went again in October and I was suddenly at 109 pounds. And on one hand, with my celiac disease, like gaining weight is a good thing. Like I need to gain weight because it's not healthy. Like my current weight, even at 109 pounds, is not healthy. Like I can't donate blood, I can't donate plasma.
What?
Because it like I would probably pass out. And they just won't allow it. And I was like in the office, I was like, oh my God, yeah, that's great. Like proud of myself, like building myself up. I'm so happy. And then as soon as I left, I got home and I just like looked at my body in the mirror. It's like, it wasn't me anymore. Wow. And I hadn't noticed any changes in my body before I went to the doctor, before I got my weight taken. And it's just one of those things, like you don't, and it took me a good week to realize like, oh my God, I'm like hating on my body right now. And I think it looks so bad. And I'm like overworking out and doing all these things because I was like really self-conscious about it. And then I realized like I was in the shower one day and I just kind of sat there. I'm like, I don't think my body's actually changed that much. It's like 4 pounds. There's no way. And it just kind of hit me. I'm like, seeing that I gained any weight just like triggered that body dysmorphia. Cause I was like feeling like I had all these muffin tops and like my thighs were jiggling too much. And it was like, oh my God, wow, that's a weird feeling and that's a weird realization to have. But I think once you start noticing those things and catching yourself making those thought patterns, it's a lot easier to reverse them, because then within like 2 days, like everything felt back to normal.
Do you feel back to normal now, like you've already overcome everything? Or
So actually a few days ago I tried to put on a pair of my jeans and they no longer fit. Like I couldn't get like I do really skinny high-waisted jeans a lot of the time, and I couldn't get them like over my tush, and when I finally did, I couldn't get them to zip. Like it would stop like right there, and I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? Like I even like took my measurements and everything and I felt like nothing had changed.
But like as girls, it's like our bodies fluctuate by the week,
by the
you
day.
know? Like literally next week you're gonna be like, the jeans will be big on you. Like you just don't know what's gonna happen with your body.
And it's like 4 days later, like I don't even know how many days. It was a few days
or
later.
Today.
Like today. Like before I came down here, I'm like, I need new jeans.
Yeah.
So I went thrifting and everything. Aww. Had a good little thrift jean moment. Got some new jean jackets too.
Oh, I love that.
But it was just like, it's really hard to just recognize like this is an okay thing. Like it's okay for your body to fluctuate. It's okay for you to need a couple different sizes of jeans and to be like, because I only had one pair of jeans, so I was wearing the same pair of jeans for like a solid 3 days.
Oh my gosh.
Because they were the only ones that fit all of a sudden. But now I'm like putting on the jeans that I just got, and I tried a pair of them on today and it was like they were too big. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. This is not fun.
Mental health is so important in pageants. So like what do you have to say to people that are like struggling with like body dysmorphia? Like how do you overcome it? Do you have any advice? I know you're still struggling. I know it's like so normal for all of us to go through that, but any advice?
Don't put yourself down for going through it. Absolutely. Like that, because it is normal. Yeah. And a lot of women go through it, especially. And I think the biggest thing is that for me and like my overall mental health, because I do suffer from depression and anxiety. And the biggest thing was recognizing like your worth isn't based off anything. It's not based off your size or your weight or how successful you are or how pretty you are. Like you are like the iron in your blood, that comes from stars. That is the only place iron generates from the universe. Yeah. So literally the fact that you have blood flowing through your veins right now and that like you are alive and existing is because there was a star that collapsed in on itself, exploded, supernovaed, and now that stardust is in your veins.
I love that.
And that is something so cool to me.
Yeah.
So to me, because I love stars, I'm obsessed with stars. So to me, it's like my worth is innate. Yeah. And you have to recognize that like you being alive means you are worthy of that life and that you are worthy of anything you put your mind to. And it's just breaking that habit of saying, I have to be this. I have to be that.
Yeah. Because and sometimes it's like one door closes, but a better one opens for you. Exactly. Like I'm a living example of that. And I feel like you are too, maybe because you, you know, you got top 5 at Miss Earth USA. You wanted that title, but you did Vizcaya Swimwear and now you're on a billboard and magazine covers.
And I feel like I probably wouldn't have, I feel like I don't think I probably would have like come back to the Vizcaya Swimwear like after an Earth USA reign, because I just like wouldn't have thought to do it.
Yeah.
But I was like, top 5 at Earth USA.
I mean,
I
that's
could try it. Like,
amazing.
it was like
Yeah.
amazing. I really like, obviously, like that was my goal going in,
Mhm.
was to make top 5. So I was really happy with myself. But then like I was also bummed I didn't win.
Yeah.
Everybody is.
Yeah.
And I had some struggle with my mental health like February and March, just because there was a lot of things going on in my personal life, had nothing to do with like pageantry or anything.
Mhm.
But I was just really struggling. And then I got to Grand Cayman, and everyone was like, you should try it. Like, you should do this.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, yeah, maybe I should. Because it kept coming up on my Instagram and like on my Facebook timeline. And everyone's like, you should try it. You should do it.
Plus, like, Cayman is like such a happy place. I feel
Oh,
like the
they're
sunshine just
amazing.
makes you delusional in the best way.
Absolutely.
Like Florida people, island people, you know, we're just in our own little world.
It's that like Caribbean vibe.
It is, yeah.
And it's like everybody I met in Cayman is just like, you're amazing. And it's like, and you're like, no, you're amazing.
So Cayman Islands,
yeah,
you spent a lot of time there. So tell me everything you did there. I know you were doing a lot of environmental work.
Yeah, so my degree is in environmental science, specifically statistical ecology. So I still am working on the paper, but I was doing data collection for a statistical ecology paper that I am working on to measure climate change and how it impacts wildlife in the Cayman Islands.
Oh my gosh.
So that was really fun. But then I was also volunteering at the Cayman Turtle Center, because turtles are the best animal in the world. Yes. Not gonna lie. It's just my entire life for the past like 20 years. It's like I'm only 21, but for the past like 2 decades.
Oh my gosh.
Has just always been environmentalism and like really paying attention to how we're using resources in the environment, and it's just something that's always been really important to me.
And you're like a thrifting queen. Like you always have the best outfits, and you're like, yeah, I thrifted 8 hours for this.
Yeah, so there's like 8 thrift stores around my town. Like I go between Lincoln and Omaha and sometimes Des Moines for school. So there's like 8 thrift stores in that little triangle that I will just go between. It's a solid like 3 hours of driving to get to Des Moines to Lincoln, and I'll just stop at thrift stores along the way.
What's the coolest thing you found in a thrift store?
Ooh, I found like a 1980s. I probably shouldn't say it because it's like worth like $700, and I just have it in my closet.
What is it?
So it's an original Gucci bag. Like not an original maybe, but it was like from the 1970s
it's probably
or
worth
80s.
More than
I like literally looked up the style and everything.
Oh
they were selling it for $25.
Oh my gosh.
And I was just like, you're kidding.
Whoa.
Me. So I own like an original Gucci bag.
I love it. And it's thrifted.
And it cost me practically nothing.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
Never giving up that bag. It's like my favorite thing. I have a bunch of like Kate Spade bags as well.
Okay.
That I got for like $10-15, and they're worth like $400. And I'm like,
it's like, do the people that work at Goodwill like putting prices on stuff? They don't know designers at all.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
There's so many things, like even like PacSun items. Like I just got a pair of PacSun jeans.
Yeah.
And they're like from this season and everything.
Oh my gosh.
They were selling them for $5. And I'm like,
okay,
I'll take these. That's fine.
I love it. Oh my gosh, thrifting is so fun. I need to do more of that.
I love it because you never know what you're gonna find.
No. Have you ever thrifted anything for a pageant?
I have.
Yeah.
I actually thrift a lot for pageantry, especially like my day-to-day wardrobe. Pretty much everything I wear is thrifted. Not quite thrifting, but like the gown I'm planning to wear at my next pageant is the same gown I've worn like 3 other times for pageants, and I'm just altering it and upcycling it, doing like an Arbany Nola vibe.
I love upcycling. Oh my
gosh.
The best
because then you don't have to buy new stuff.
Speaking of wardrobes, though, we do have to shout out our sponsor who dressed Angel today. So share with us what you're wearing.
So I am wearing PinkApple Dresses, a little suit piece, and then I have Perfect Corset NYC.
Oh my gosh.
A corset from them
love
on.
It.
I love it so much.
Oh
it's my favorite
I
thing.
love your style. How do you define your style? Because I feel like there's the pageant angel, and then there's like the angel that walks into hair and makeup, who's a totally different vibe.
I probably definitely like streetwear. Like I love New York City streetwear. Yeah. But honestly, I just like creative things. I will wear any style concept as long as I find it very like creative and trying to mix things up. I'm huge on like the punk and emo scene, and
Mhm.
even the goth scene. Like I'll add like gothic
I love it
elements.
because it's so unexpected from you because you see Angel on stage and you're like, okay, pageant Patty, but then not pageant Patty, you're pretty iconic on stage, but you know what I mean, very pageant. And then you
Very
see
like
Angel like in New
glam.
York City and she's like, you know, wearing all black with like chains, and I'm like, who is she? She's so cool.
But like even if I'm going for like a more retro vibe, I'll have like some gothic rings or just like add like a
Yeah.
gothic belt because I think it in a weird way pulls together.
Mhm.
And I think when you can mix two different styles, that's like my favorite thing.
Yeah, even this outfit, which I'm sure you'll post on your Instagram, so we
Oh,
can
I'm
see
posting
it
it everywhere.
later. Yes,
I'm obsessed with it. I
I
just like
love
never want to
it.
take it off.
I know it's like glamorous and like punk at the same time.
Absolutely.
Everything.
I w-
I had a oh, okay. So tell me what's going on with Adrian Kwan. It's in your talking points, and I'm like, what is the Adrian Kwan situation stuff? I must be out of the loop.
So Adrian Kwan is a sort of pageant podcaster like
Okay.
this. Like he does a lot of interviews,
Mhm.
and he got invited to judge portion of Miss Earth this year.
Okay.
And he felt really weird because like he knows a lot of the girls, and especially like Miss Australia, like he knows her really well.
Mhm.
And he asked like, "Do you think like is this like judge rigging? Like is this like
Right.
okay?" And I'm just and like so many people, I have such a weird time with people acting like pageantry because we all sort of know each other. It's a very small space.
It's really hard because like you want people in the industry to judge your pageant, but
Yeah.
then anybody in the industry knows everybody in the industry because
Yeah,
it's such a small
absolutely.
community. So it's really hard to find that.
And I agree. And that's like, that was the perspective I came with. I'm like, you can't really avoid it in the pageantry industry. If you
Mhm.
want people who know what they're doing and who are going to choose the right person. And I think Adrian Kwan, especially, like, he's very upfront about, like, I want someone who's going to stand out. I want someone who's genuine. I want someone who is competent.
Yeah.
And that's someone I would want judging a pageant.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of opinions of like rigging is rigging, like pageants should just take so much more care about like their judges not knowing anyone, and I'm like, that's almost impossible.
It's impossible. And that's why like we always have judges that kind of know each other,
Yeah.
but the most important thing to do would be to fill out a form or something and be like, do you know any of these contestants?
Yeah,
Your relationship, and then sign here saying it won't affect the way you score.
absolutely. And if you do think you notice like
Mhm.
someone overscoring or like really
Yeah.
hurting another girl's chances, then like yes, like call that out and like throw it away.
Oh my gosh, I had a situation like that when I judged Miss
Really?
Universe Pakistan. And I'm like, oh, it's Pakistan. Like, I probably don't know anybody. I literally knew a contestant competing for Miss Universe Pakistan. I'm like, I know this girl. So it
Oh
was
my
like blind
God.
interviews. So you don't know who you were interviewing. You just had a number and
Okay,
a
that's
voice.
really cool.
So that was really cool. And then after they gave us the bio sheets, and I'm like, oh my God, I know her. So I called the director and I was like, hey, I have to, step back because I was uncomfortable judging
Yeah.
from that. So they moved me over to Bahrain. Everything worked out fine. But,
Yeah.
like for those situations, you kind of have to be mature and decide
about it.
if it's going to affect
If you're
you.
like if you're gonna have it, there's gonna be an adverse reaction for the girls.
And I loved that girl. So I was like, you know what? I would probably
I
give her a 10.
can't. And even like Earth USA this year, because I'm a elemental title holder, they were
Yeah.
gonna have me judge the junior
Ooh.
pageant because I was also a former junior. I was the former junior queen, and I coached one of the girls
Oh
that
my
is competing. I
gosh.
coached the Nebraska
So that's
girl.
like almost a direct
And I was
conflict of
like,
interest.
it's not even like that I would score her better. I
Yeah.
almost feel like even without thinking about it,
Mhm.
I would be too harsh on her because I know what she's capable. Like when you coach a girl, you know what she's capable of.
Yeah.
And any mistakes she's making, like you know.
You would be like 7 because I know you could do a 10, but you didn't do it today.
Yeah, like it was nothing about like I don't think I could judge fairly.
Yeah.
It's that I don't think it would be fair to
Oh
her
my gosh.
because subconsciously, like I probably wouldn't even notice. I would just be like, oh my God, you can do so much better.
Okay, so let's talk about the elephant in the room. You were thinking about going back to Miss Earth USA, and you know that Vizcaya, Code Creatives, and Lady Code are pretty big sponsors for Miss Earth USA. So did that affect you going back at all?
A little bit, yeah. It felt really weird, even when I
Mhm.
was like, trying to see if I could, and one of the directors was like totally fine with it, but I
Mhm.
was just like, this feels really weird.
I think
and
he
like,
talked to me about it and Franz, and we were like,
yeah,
we would support you, but we would be uncomfortable. And
yeah,
if by any chance you won,
it looks so bad.
it would be
and
such a
looks
bad
so
look
weird
for everyone. Like the optics are just
Yeah.
not good.
And also, like, I hold my like in the pageant community, I try very hard to like build a good network of pageant queens. Like,
Mhm.
so many of my best friends aren't even from the city I'm from, because they're from New York or Wisconsin or just like whatever state they were representing at our pageant. And it's just like, I don't think I could deal with like like even myself, I don't think I could handle girls thinking that anything would be
Which it
rigged
would
for me.
never happen. We know that Miss Earth USA is very fair.
Yeah.
Like, I've been with them for years, and we know it's a fair
And
pageant.
I have too.
Since you have such a high chance of winning, it's just like,
Sorry,
well, I'm just saying that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You know, so it's like, okay, maybe
it's a hard, because it is hard, because that like has been my goal since I was like very young. But it's like,
could you do Cayman Islands or something then?
Cayman Islands doesn't have a Miss Earth pageant. I was actually like working. I was like telling, because when Vizcaya sponsored the Cayman Islands Universe pageant, they're thinking about adding more country, like more international pageant systems. I'm like, you should check out Earth. Like, you should check that out.
There you go. And then foot in the door, you get to Miss Earth. You know,
like, just go have a good time. It was a really tough decision though. Yeah. But at the same time, the next pageant I'm planning on doing, it sounds like there are several factors that I'm like, this is like the time to do it. So maybe everything just worked out for a reason. Like,
everything always happens for a reason. Just trust the process. Whatever comes to you is gonna, you know.
I was having a conversation with my friend last night.
Oh my god. The fly. There was a fly that like flew around my face. Okay. That was weird.
Yeah. I was just having a conversation with a friend last night, and I was essentially asked like, are you very spiritual? Like, do you believe in like, knock on wood, all of that? And I don't really most of the time, but the one thing I fundamentally believe is like, everything's going to happen for a reason. The universe is always going to give back to you what you need at what time you need, and everything you do is going to reflect what the universe had planned for you.
100%.
And it's like, that's such a weird concept for everything else I believe in. It's like, I'm a very logical person.
Yeah.
So it's like, I know, it's like,
me too.
It's so optimistic. It's so optimistic.
Me too. And it's like, you want something so bad and you think that's best for you and you don't get it. But then, like, you know, we're both looking back and we're like, oh, we got something better, so it's okay.
Absolutely. Like, it all worked out in the end.
I love this tea, by the way. Angel found this cute little tea shop. Brought me
It's a little coffee shop.
What's in a London fog?
So a London fog is Earl Grey. It's an Earl Grey latte, essentially, with a little bit of vanilla or lavender. I mean, I added lavender to these. I had lavender in.
Tastes like a little hug. It's like a nice fall drink. It's so
my god, London fogs are my favorite drink, and every time I find a new cafe, it's the one thing I order. These ones are my favorite. It's why every time I'm here, I go to this. I will drive out to Boca Raton no matter what.
Like your Florida drink.
This is my Florida go-to. I can't live without it, honestly.
I have like my California things where I'm like, when I'm in LA, I need like Erewhon, In-N-Out, like Good Kitchen, like those are the things I need. Okay, so before we wrap it up, I have a rapid fire Q&A questions for you. Okay, first one, vegan leather or faux fur?
I'm going to go faux fur because as an environmental science student, I actually know that vegan leather is worse for the environment than real leather.
Oh my god.
So,
and it smells bad.
It does. And it doesn't last very long. It's such a big waste problem.
Okay.
Faux fur actually like lasts.
Wow.
Vegan leather does not.
That's good to know. Christmas or Halloween?
Halloween.
Okay.
I'm not huge, like, love Christmas. Christmas is great. But Halloween is my holiday. Like, that's me and my mother's holiday.
I love it.
First time my mother got deployed, she missed her first time coming home because the hospital that she worked in Iraq, like, got bombed. So they wouldn't let her come home and they wouldn't let us go there. So that first time she came home was supposed to be my birthday. Didn't end up being my birthday, ended up being Halloween. And instead of anybody telling me that she was coming home, I went trick-or-treating with my cousin, and we were being stalked by this masked figure in a black cape all night.
Was it your mom?
It was my mom. Like, she chased me down. She chased us down. Like, I fell in my grandmother's driveway, skinned my knees. My cousin ditched me.
It's like, Mom, that's almost not funny, but I'm glad you're home.
Honestly, like, I feel like I'm super into horror movies and everything today. Like, I'm super into prosthetic makeup. I'm super into horror movies, Halloween, all spooky season things. And I think it's because fundamentally my core values, like, there's so much love I associate with being afraid.
Because of that.
Because of
trauma.
That. Like,
is it trauma?
I don't think it's trauma. I think it's just a core memory, but we'll let the audience decide.
It was trauma until you found out it was your mom.
Until I found out it was my mom. Then I was crying for a very different reason.
Oh my gosh, that's so sweet though.
Yeah, it was the best. It was the best.
Pageant stage or modeling runway?
Modeling runway.
Okay, love it. Interview or on stage question?
Interview.
Okay.
On stage question is like so nerve-wracking.
So is interview though.
Oh, I'm great in interview.
Really?
That's like where I'm comfortable. If I'm like facing someone, I've worked
Okay.
so hard because I have ASD. Like I've worked so hard to be good at communicating in person with people. I'm a pro. Like when I'm anxious, I'm just so used to having to like go through all those like things that neurotypical people expect me to do that I'm just like very good at just doing them automatically. And like proper neurotypical people like get anxious and they stop doing a lot of those subtle communication things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ha ha ha, I have an advantage.
I love it.
The one time my disability is an advantage.
Actually, it's a huge advantage.
It's a huge advantage.
Oh my gosh. Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Me too. Finally.
I hate to say it.
Everybody I ask so far on this podcast has a beach, and I'm like, I'm mountains. I'm like, really?
It's like sand is awful. That's the problem.
Says the swimsuit model.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's different when it's glamorous.
Okay. It is because it's very punctuated sand.
It is.
It's very well placed sand. Yeah. It's not just everywhere.
No. That's so funny. Coffee or tea?
Tea. I don't drink coffee.
That's so funny. Every pageant queen, probably every national title holder I know, does not drink coffee. That's like the secret.
Bitter. It's so bitter, and I think if you drink too many, personally, I believe if you drink too many bitter things, you stop being sweet. So that's my justification.
Well, I put sugar in my coffee.
Yeah, but you're like sassy sweet.
I'm just sassy. No, I'm just kidding.
You are very sassy, but it's like a good sassy.
Like, thanks. I'll believe you. Mascara or falsies?
Oh, I have hooded eyes, so definitely mascara because falsies tend to come up.
But we cracked the code.
We did crack the code.
The half lash. And we just came out with the half lash. Oh, we can't say it yet. We'll leak it on the podcast. There is a half lash coming to the winter collection, which is coming out later this week. And we're both wearing them. We love them.
I'm obsessed. They're so great.
And they're so easy to put on. Just boop, and your eyes look amazing. Okay, 2 more questions.
Okay.
You've done both. So magazine cover or billboard?
Oh, that's hard. Wait, that's the hardest one yet. I'm going to have to go with billboard just because there's a running joke in my friend group now that I'm taking over the United States via billboards.
You are? Oh my god.
Because it's been New York and LA so far. And
we have to do one in Omaha just because.
Yeah, like at this point.
Right?
At this point.
Do they have billboards in Omaha?
Sort of. Like we have like the Midwest side street billboard.
Okay, we'll find that one. We'll find a way to get your face on that one.
Now let's just stick with Chicago. That's the Midwest version.
Okay, cute.
Yeah.
Chicago. That's a good flex too. Okay, last question. Favorite charity and how can we support?
I have a lot of these. So I'm a huge fan of World Wildlife Fund because save the turtles. Everyone should remember that. Save the turtles. They're the best animal in the world. But right now I'm working really closely with Josh the Otter Memorial Foundation, and their basic premise is Float for Life. I've worked with them since I was 7, but I've been getting really back into it because like most of the things I work with are environmental, but it's just been a really good time. And I've known the family for years. Like I knew Josh Collingsworth before he passed, and I know Kathy and Blake put their heart and soul into that organization. So everything that is done to help that organization, I feel is like one of the best things you can do, because they are not the sort of people that started a nonprofit just to say like we have a nonprofit or like for tax write-offs or just for whatever reason. It's like their son drowned in a pool, and instead of letting that grief consume them and ruin their lives, they decided to help protect other people's kids from the same fate and help protect other people from that pain. And I think that is the strongest and most admirable thing that I've ever heard or seen people do. And I genuinely think like that organization just deserves so much more support, because they like the book that helps like fundraise for it is in like 7 different languages now, sold on like every continent pretty much. Oh my
gosh.
And it's amazing. And they did it all themselves. Like they work really hard to just promote water safety and keep kids safe. That's amazing to me.
That is amazing. Well, where can we find out more, and what's the best way to get involved?
So you can actually follow the Josh the Otter Instagram and TikTok. I currently run their TikTok.
What?
So
okay.
Watch out for Josh the Otter doing TikTok dances.
I love that.
That's my goal for the end of the year.
Oh my gosh.
For 2024 is just really build that TikTok. They also have the JCMF website. I
Mhm.
don't know the URL domain,
We'll
but
link it down
we'll
below.
link it down below.
Okay.
And generally speaking, usually like Rotary clubs
Mhm.
are who like the Josh the Otter Foundation uh, has set up events. They have book readings. You can do what I do and go be Josh the Otter for an evening and help teach kids water safety and do the water safety song with them.
Okay, I love that.
It's so much
That's so
fun.
fun, and
Yeah.
it's, like, so wholesome.
There's like videos online of me in the costume running around with like track kids and falling over
I
myself.
need to see those videos. So it's like
It's so
she's
great.
dressed up as an otter.
Like dressed up at like full otter costume,
Oh
full
my
mascot
gosh.
costume.
Meanwhile, in Times Square. She does it all, you guys.
I
Love it.
absolutely like you can watch me Dougie in the otter costume. It's great.
Oh my gosh. You know what? Our Miss Vizcaya Swimwear 2019, I think no, 2021. Kitty and Magyar.
Okay.
She raises awareness for sharks and she wears a shark costume on TikTok
I
and she's
love
gone
that.
viral so many times just educating people on sharks, but she's dancing in the shark costume.
Oh my
So
gosh.
you
I
guys
love
have
that.
like a little common ground. You guys have to connect and make like some
We'll have to
TikTok.
do it. I'll have to bring the Josh the Otter suit
Mhm.
to like where is she in Florida?
She's in California.
California. Next time I go to California,
Yeah,
I'll have to be like, I'm
100%
bringing
like a
the Josh the
collab
Otter
with
suit.
Katie and the shark.
We're gonna collab.
Love
We're
that.
just gonna be in mascot costumes dancing around.
Oh my god, I love it.
Like I literally have so many videos of me just like randomly starting to dance,
Oh my
both
gosh.
in and out of costume.
Okay, yes,
And
because we have the confidence.
I'm putting a whole reel together, and it's gonna be like a minute long of me
I
just
love
like doing
it.
weird little dances.
Oh my gosh, it's all confidencing.
It's all confidencing. It's what you
Love
gotta
it.
do.
Well, thank you so much for coming
Of
on
course. Thank you for having
Misrepresented.
me.
Where can we keep up with you on Instagram and TikTok other than your Otter Talk?
So both of them are at Ann_Earth_Angel.
Mhm.
But I also, for my modeling portfolio, my online modeling portfolio is at Angel Marie Strong on Instagram.
Love that. Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you for having me.